Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Zamora two-player podcast. I am Garrett Zamora and joined again by my brother Matt. Matt, welcome.
Yo. Oh, hello.
So we're going to talk about a couple things today, and we really needed to do an episode today because it is the calm before the storm right now, with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom coming out in like 5 days. So next weekend I'm gonna be like incommunicado. I'm gonna be, hunkered down playing that game. I booked 2 days off work. Like, it comes out on Friday, and I booked the Monday and the Friday off, so I have like a 4-day stretch for that game.
So before we go into kind of blackout zone,
Yeah.
like let's get a podcast done.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be like 2 more weeks before we could record. Not before we could record, before I would want to record, because I'm going to be...
Before you're available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a few things today. We'll start actually by... So you were just saying before we started recording, just because I like checking in with what you're playing and stuff. You just finished platinuming Crisis Core.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, look, this is FF7 related. There's no chance I can not platinum it. So platinum that not too long ago. So that was nice. And it's funny with me. It's usually like it's like I'm playing. I get platinum, and then it's like, okay, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I think I can put down this controller without any reservations or anything like that. It's like, yeah, I'm done. This is a natural end point for me. No, it was good.
And it's not like you'll never play the game again, but it's like your current session, is just like, okay, like
I'm ready to move on to another game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Time to put it on the back burner for now.
Yeah. And it was funny because I knew, like, I've had to get a couple of things, like there are a few mini games that I needed to do and whatnot.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those trophies. Like,
yeah.
Oh God.
But there's one that was really grindy, and I was like, I don't want that to be my like platinum achievement. And so I was like, okay, it's like the one where you need to get Apocalypse on the DMW, whatever, fully 100% or whatever. And that just means you need to get that limit break or whatever a lot of times. It's like, so just go into one of those side quests to just like, fight 1,000 enemies or whatever. And just try and grind that out, and just kind of reading a book and just hitting X and whatever.
Get the chair out, put it on.
Ruin another controller.
Yeah.
And I wanted my platinum one to be defeating Minerva, and so I was like, okay, that'll be a big win and a platinum trophy. So so I ended it on a bang. So I was pretty happy, and I was like, you know what, there, done.
Now
so
it's
pretty
done.
Happy with that.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing for a lot of trophies where, and like I tried to do it for. So we'll talk about Final Fantasy IV in a little bit, because I did just platinum that one, and I wanted to say a few things about that game. But I wanted to leave like the like beating the game as that's way too dark. Beating the game as my like last trophy, so it's like roll credits, wait for that to come up or whatever, and I did it. I beat the game, and then I was like, wait, where's the trophy? Like, it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, did I miss, like, there's a lot of missable things in some of these earlier like Final Fantasies, and I was like, God, what did I? And I just looking through, and it was the one I didn't get was you have to like visit every area like once, and there was like a chocobo forest that I didn't go into, and like, fine, I'll go get that. And so now my little screenshot of that trophy is just me standing in the chocobo, like, damn it. I tried to keep it for the
That's exactly what I tried not to do.
Exactly.
I was really concerned though because I was going through it on New Game Plus hard mode whatever,
Yeah,
and it was like, oh man, beating Minerva on hard mode seems literally impossible because she does some move that takes away your Phoenix down status and then
sure.
kills you. So it's just like and instead of having, and it's just an absurd amount of HP. But then I learned, oh, okay, just beat it on hard. That's a trophy, and then you can change the difficulty at any time.
Okay.
So beat it. Okay, got that. Turn it to normal and go. And
Go do that
it
fight.
wasn't too bad actually. I was pretty overpowered. So
Okay,
like
yeah.
it was a long fight, but it was like okay, no, I know what I'm doing.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm
Um,
happy to be done with that, and then moved on to something else.
that'll be my when I do like my revisit to like finish up Final Fantasies trophies.
Yeah.
Once I've done the Pixel Remasters, that'll be one that I'll get back to. I got to do 10 at some point, which I'm
Mm,
not looking forward to because that's going to be so grindy.
yeah, it's pretty
Um,
grindy.
and then I have that Type Zero HD. I might look at
Mm,
what the trophies are like for that game. That game's like it's not bad, but I if there's real bad trophies in it, I'm not going to bother.
yeah.
And then I have looked at the Theater Rhythm Platinum, and I feel
Ooh,
like I could do it. It will just take a lot of time.
man.
So I got to
I
work on those.
I downloaded the Theater Rhythm demo just to play a couple, and I was just like, this is so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, how can someone actually do this?
I
But like
don't
on
think
some
there's not many that are tied to like difficulty.
okay.
So like some of the ones where you just got to get high scores or perfect chains or whatever.
Mm,
I think you don't have to do them on
on a
like a high
crazy
difficulty,
difficulty.
and you can
Okay.
adjust the speed if it's moving too fast.
Okay.
Although I find if it moves too slow, it's almost harder to like get the
Yeah.
timing. But anyway,
Yeah.
none of them seemed like I don't think I can physically do this. It's just like oh, that's gonna take a long time.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll get back around to that like next year probably when I get
The
back around to it.
The Theater
Um,
Rhythm demo has been fun because FF7 is one of the ones that are you can play in the demo.
yeah,
So which is good for me. And it was like, oh, I'm gonna download a new game or the some DLC. I need to. What can I do for 20 minutes? I'll just play some Theater
yeah,
Rhythm for a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, it works pretty well.
yeah. And then we'll talk about this another time. But I saw you online playing Final Fantasy 15. I think
Yeah, yeah,
yesterday. So I
yeah,
assume you're just starting because it's. Did you grab that from the PlayStation Plus collection or whatever?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, good because
yeah,
like that's going away soon. So as long as you've added it to your account, you have it.
yeah.
As long as you're subscribed.
And that's
Um,
yeah, like you said, we'll talk more, but it was like I need a new game to play. And I was like, I've never played this and I know nothing about it.
yeah,
So I said it's free to download. So I was like, ah, I'll give this a shot, see what this is like.
and then
So
you got to
yeah.
push a car for 20 minutes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Sweet. This game's awesome. So yeah, I'm just kind of getting into it and it's I know I was
Yeah,
like this
I know it's a weird intro.
am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
I'm still kind of trying to figure out the battle mechanics. I'm still not very good,
yeah,
but yeah, yeah,
cool. Yeah, so once you dug into that more, and that'd be a good discussion leading up to Final Fantasy 16. So in a couple weeks or something.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about because I would love to get, and especially where you are jumping into it now when it has been
Mm.
improved a lot.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
When day one release version was like not the best and kind of unfinished in a lot of ways.
yeah,
Um, and with Royal Edition, I believe you get all the DLC. So your party
yeah,
members each have like their own like individual, and I feel like they're like 6 or 7 hours, maybe like maybe not that long, like maybe 5 hours ish or something
yeah,
for
yeah,
their individual like levels to do later.
yeah,
So it's a lot of stuff,
yeah.
and they fixed a lot of some of the issues that the game had. So I'll be
Cool.
curious to see how you like it jumping in now
Yeah,
when it's basically the best it's been.
yeah.
Uh,
Awesome.
cool. So yeah, we'll get to that later on. So first thing we were going to talk about. So you finally got around. I finally. It's been out for like 4 weeks. You got to go see the Mario movie.
Yes.
Like last week,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Yep. It was awesome because it was like just like a Tuesday night, and it was like, it's late, but I don't quite want to go to bed yet. What can I do? And it was like, oh man, like I want to see a movie and I want to go see the Mario movie. So
Yeah.
I just like hopped in the car. I was like, starts in 20 minutes. Boom. And like went, okay, like just solo movie style.
Yep.
And then I was like, nope, that's exactly what I was hoping it would be. So no, I really enjoyed it.
Um, One thing I loved about that movie, and I wish, because like there's definitely just like the trend of the reverse of this happening in movies. This is okay. This is what I don't like about sometimes when like they're like prequel type movies is
Mm.
like they have to give a momentous reason for every little detail that like the one of the worst examples is I don't know if you ever saw the movie Solo, the Han Solo movie.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
The
they
yeah,
tried to like justify his name being Solo in that he was by himself or what. I was like, well, that just makes his cool name stupid. Like,
yeah,
like it's I don't like when they try to like, oh, that's why this is like some of that stuff is great and like
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know when like sometimes that delivers a really cool moment.
yeah,
But it's like I feel like movies just try to like squeeze that about any detail. And it's
yeah.
like,
It's like
okay, his name didn't need like
no,
that could have just been his family name.
I
Like,
was just about to say,
like
like,
what the
it's just
hell?
his name. I just assumed it was just his name. There wasn't any plot hole
Right. It's, I
associated.
never once in my entire life watching Star Wars wondered why his name was Han Solo.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so
That's like, oh, his name is Zamora because some reason. Like, no, it's just his name.
that's just his name. It's not doesn't need to go further than that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing that I love that the Mario movie does that is the reverse of that
Uh,
is they don't explain like these weird video game mechanics that exist in this world, and I don't care. I don't
yeah,
need to know why eating this mushroom makes you twice your size. I don't give a
yeah,
shit. Just
yeah,
eat the mushroom. Let me see it. Especially coming from a video game that is like no real like storyline, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
if when we're talking about like you were talking about like the Last of Us show a couple weeks ago, it's like
yeah,
yes, that is a narrative, story-rich game. So
yeah.
put on that like lay on that detail, like
Lay on the extra layers. Yeah, yeah.
right,
Um,
exactly. Expand on that. But it's Mario. He eats a mushroom. He touches a flower and he can shoot fireballs. I do not care why. Just
yeah,
do it. Do it and let me watch.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, yeah, exactly. There's no kind of like backstory needed there. Just
no,
do it on the big screen. That's all I care about.
yeah, yeah. We
Um,
all know, like, we all know where you're getting from when you look at this mushroom. I know what the end result is. Just get there. I don't
yeah.
need you to tell me the reason why it is this way.
We know the rules of the game.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
we know the rules of this world. That's why we're here.
Right.
That's why we're in the theater. Um,
Yeah.
but
So I love that it just like, yeah, like just accept it. And oh yeah, and if you get hurt, yeah, you lose it. Sure, okay. Let's move on.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for telling me. That's all you had to
Um,
do.
I I like the thing that like totally got me right out of the gate, like literally the first 2 seconds, is it's like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show like theme, and I was like, whoa! I didn't know they were gonna have this like this reference. Like that was a really nice surprise to me. I was like, I'm so happy. I could like walk out of the theater and be like, that's
That's
perfect.
all I needed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love that.
and I feel like that like commercial or whatever they did,
Yeah,
which is where you're hearing that. And it's like it was a perfect way to handle because like there's no way and there's all this talk about like Chris Pratt's like Mario voice or whatever. And I was
yeah,
like immediately exhausted about hearing people complain about it because all I
yeah,
thought of was like watch the Lego movie, and he
Yeah.
voices the character in that, like the main character, where
Yeah.
he's just kind of like a like optimistic, like kind of reluctant hero kind of person. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
just do that voice. That is perfect for a Mario movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like, there's no way I want to hear 2 hours or now 90 minutes, whatever, of this
Yeah.
super high pitched, like over exaggerated Italian Mario voice.
Yeah.
Like, there's
No,
no freaking way I would want to hear that for that long.
no,
Um,
it's like that would get old real quick.
yeah,
And
and
this is the way to kind of do it, right? Where it's like, look, it's in a commercial, and
exactly.
people get what they want, and then it's kind of like people kind of making fun of them a little bit, or being like, oh, okay, there, that's I had to do that for the people.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Which that's what I was gonna say is like that was a perfect way to like handle that is like that's their commercial personas that they're
yeah.
putting on or whatever.
Do you
And then
know?
the guy beside him that was like that talked in the Mario voice is
Yeah,
actually Charles Martinet who voices
yeah,
Mario.
yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
that was fun. And he was playing an arcade called Wrecking Crew, which was
Yeah,
actually Mario's first appearance, I believe. In like, I think that was even before Donkey Kong. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure. Um,
Um, do you know, was all of that like in response to the kind
no,
of, or that was kind of just there
because they only
already?
announced the casting like last summer.
Right, right.
I think it was. So like the movie was like figured out by that point. It was just,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure it was like post production or whatever.
Because I remember like the original. I haven't seen any of them yet, but like the Sonic movie, and then like how they completely redid
Sure. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No.
And I was like,
This.
oh, don't give in to this, because it would just be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No.
Um,
I never heard any reports of that, and I doubt like it was significant because it was kind of part of significant enough part of the story where like that's what they were trying to branch out and
mm,
do. So I'm
true.
confident that that was already in there, and the because of how late they announced the casting, I don't think all that would have been changed anyway.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
Um,
it was like I said, I was immediately exhausted already about hearing people complaining about Chris Pratt, and I was like, go watch the Lego Movie and tell me that would not be a good Mario voice for this
yeah,
type of movie, and that's exactly
yeah.
what it was. Just had like a little bit of an accent, like a
Mm,
Brooklyn accent, a little bit, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But no, it was awesome. So many Easter eggs, like
yes,
that, and it was almost like Easter egg exhaustion.
both like
Uh,
visual and like audio. Like there were
yeah,
so
yeah,
many, audio and like Peach doing her float at the when she's doing
yeah,
the little chorus, like that didn't
yeah,
have to be there. It was like 2 seconds, but it was like know exactly what they're referring to for
yeah.
that.
It's just like, yep, Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah,
Continue. Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was funny watching a few like YouTube videos of like Easter egg breakdowns, and it was like, oh, and then Peach does the float from Mario Brothers 2, and it's like that's not. It's like it's to me, it's like that's not an Easter egg. That's the most obvious thing in the entire universe. Like, no, I guess that's not. I guess that is an Easter egg, but it's just like, no, that's just Peach, of course.
yeah.
But no, it's like so many things that I take for granted that are just like the Mario
Common
Brothers.
knowledge to us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
knows that. Who doesn't know that?
Right. So yeah, it was so I'm gonna get that on Blu-ray when it comes out because I really want to go through it just
Mm,
to like see it again, but also I know there's stuff I missed.
yeah,
And yeah, absolutely loved it. Bowser's motivation for kidnapping because he's just in love with her for some reason. Okay, let's
yeah,
do that. I don't
sure.
care. Like, yeah, and he's like kind of a sociopath because he's like also, you know, like his wedding present to her is like, I'm gonna murder all these people as a
Yeah,
gift to you or something like. Sure, yeah, let's make Bowser a sociopath. Let's do it.
yeah.
I don't care. Keep going. I'm
No,
enjoying it.
it was awesome. Just like, yep,
And
this is video game logic, right? Just
right,
like, sure, why not?
and the
Um,
little like Luma that was like
yeah.
sadistic, like oh, it was so good. It was so
Uh,
good. I love that friggin' movie.
um, I'd say my two criticisms might be that like the end credit scene was like a Yoshi egg or
Yeah,
whatever, and I was like, Yeah, we already saw Yoshi. Oh, there's a whole shit ton of them
So,
earlier.
so I think the like tease was that it looked like it was in like Brooklyn or
The
whatever.
real world. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and that's what I
Um,
got out of it. Is like it wasn't in like the Yoshi area. It was like
and
it
I guess
has crossed over.
this will be like your friend Yoshi, not just
True. Yeah,
a
that's a good
Yoshi.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I also I heard so much about the song, and I was kind of like, man.
Sure.
I was like, nah, this is
It's
kind of
definitely
stupid.
like a song
Um,
that kids will like love and not stop quoting.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly. So I thought it was going to be better than that, but anyway,
I
that was just like
I
whatever.
liked it for its like its way of fully injecting Jack Black
Jack
into
Black.
Bowser. Like the
Yeah,
way he sings is he's barely doing a character. Maybe it's deeper than his normal singing voice or speaking voice or whatever. But it's
yeah.
like it was a good way to just inject like that song only existed in the movie because it was Jack Black playing Bowser. Like
Yeah,
guaranteed.
exactly. It's like, okay, so today we're just gonna let you do you.
Yeah,
So,
just write a song that
yeah,
kids will find funny.
yeah,
And yeah,
exactly, yeah.
so yeah, I liked it for that reason and less for its quality as a song.
Fair, yeah.
But just to and just to make Bowser just more of a like funny character. I also love Peach in this.
Yeah.
Like she's a freaking badass in this movie, and I love
Oh,
it.
totally. And I think voiced by Anna
And
Taylor Joy.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, who is
Well,
awesome.
I literally watched the Queen's Gambit after they announced that
Oh wow.
casting, and I was like, because I knew she was in it, and I think you had seen it and told me it was good,
Oh, it's so good.
and
Yeah.
so I was
Yeah.
like, I saw that, I was like, oh, I gotta watch it now, just so, I want to
Um
see, I want to, I don't know, I'd do that, just like I want to like hear her voice then and like imagine what it would sound like in this movie or whatever. So,
she's awesome. She hosted Saturday Night Live once and she did a really good job.
okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah. I think like English isn't her native her mother tongue kind of thing. Like I
oh
think
wow,
it's I think Spanish or something like that. But
okay,
anyway, yeah, I was like, oh wow, geez. Anyway, yeah, she was really good.
and like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong,
Oh god.
it's just like when he was like making his peck stance, like Cranky he was like, no, stop doing it, and he was just like. Just kind of like kept doing it. I don't know why his face he made made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, I get a kick out
Yeah,
of that.
it was great.
Um there were
It was
so
just
many like
fun. It was just a fun movie.
Rainbow Road references,
Yeah.
um Blue Shell, like just like everything. There's just so many Easter eggs. It was awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna buy that physical copy when that comes out because I want to watch it again for sure. So yeah, I'm glad you got it, and a lot of maybe it was like a nostalgia overload because we over the last couple months we've been talking a lot about just our early memories of playing that and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that just made it hit the nostalgia note even harder for me.
I saw
I
you
really liked it.
post the picture of you again. I think it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in reference to the movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did that right after I saw the movie. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. You
uh,
standing there playing
yeah,
Mario 1, kind of standing up, same height as the TV. I
yeah,
love that photo.
yeah. I tweeted that out.
Yeah,
Just yeah, I was feeling very nostalgic. So
yeah. No,
cool.
it
Well,
was great.
I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it too. There was one thing I was gonna say. There's some Easter egg about that. Like, oh no, sorry. I said earlier that the Mario like cameo
Mm.
was playing Wrecking Crew. No, he was playing Jumpman
Yeah.
Arcade, which was like Mario's Japanese name, I think, in Donkey Kong.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
the like asshole guy that's like bullying them is he worked for a company called Wrecking Crew.
Oh,
And that
okay.
was the game that Mario appeared in. That
Gotcha.
I knew there was something with that guy I wanted to say, and I just realized now I mixed up those references.
No worries.
But yeah,
But no,
just full
it
of
was
that
just
stuff.
so many like deep Easter egg references in the first like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, whoa, okay, he's playing Jumpman. It's like they the Super Mario Brothers Super Show theme, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't keep up here. Do I need to like really pay attention here?
Yeah.
It kind of slowed down on the Easter eggs there, but it was just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
Okay, here we
very
go.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just Charlie Day, like the
Oh,
perfect casting, 100% for Luigi.
yeah,
That was so great.
yeah.
Um,
No, it was great too, and just the kind of like their story and their Chris and Mario and Luigi's kind of dynamic. Like, oh, it was
yeah,
just really cool. I really liked it. It was awesome.
yeah,
Um,
cool. Well,
but
I'm glad you got to see it, so we can talk about that because yeah, I had a lot of fun. Um, okay, so one other what time? Yeah, well, I'll get into Final Fantasy 4 a bit, and then we'll take a break after that.
cool.
So yeah, so we talked about this before, but I've been playing through the Pixel Remasters,
Yep.
and so I've now finished Final Fantasy 4 Platinum,
Yep.
and I'm about probably halfway, maybe a little more than halfway through 5 right now. Um, really good guide I found that's just like walks through no fluff, like not like
Yep.
oh, and now we're gonna go save this. And it's like, nope, go to this point on the map, do this thing, go here. By the way, this enemy is missable, so make sure you fight it, and then do this. Blue mage spell here, get that. And it's just like, it's very like bullet point to like just make
Yep.
sure I don't miss stuff.
Oh yeah,
Because there are a lot of like, so there's in every one of them so far, there's been a trophy for getting every chest, every hidden item that
yeah.
sometimes you get
Jesus.
stuff in like barrels or whatever,
Yeah.
and fight every enemy. I think you have to kill every enemy. I don't think you just fight them to get them in the like the bestiary or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are 3 that are usually the missable, and visit every place because that could be missable too in some
Mhm.
cases. Um, so those are in all of them, and so those
Wow.
are the ones I was worried about. But having a guide that just tells you,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
even
yeah.
if it just tells you that this town won't be accessible anymore after this, so make sure you get
Yep.
everything. Then at least if I get to the end and I miss something, I know I can go get it.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
I've stayed on top of that.
Yep.
This guide I found is does a really good job, and it's for the Pixel Remaster specifically.
Oh, okay.
So I've just been following those while I play along. So just finished Final Fantasy IV, and my God, I love that game so much. It is like the pacing of that game. It is shorter. Like I
Mm.
think I platinumed it in like 15 or 16 hours. Like not
Oh well.
maybe like 17 or 18, but under 20 for sure.
Yeah.
And like if you weren't platinuming, because there was a couple rare spawns I had to, or rare drops I had to get or whatever. Um, it's like, probably like a 13 or 14-hour game, honestly.
Yeah.
But because its pacing is so good, I think
Yeah.
it might be one of like my favorite pacings in like a JRPG. It's just
Yeah.
nonstop, constantly getting new things, and new characters rotating in and out, always feeling like you're like, I don't feel like there's a really big difficulty spike, except maybe at the end, to the point that it feels like unfair.
Mm.
Like it's
Mm.
just like a constant power creep.
Yeah.
And going from, it's so funny going from like Final Fantasy 3, like Japanese 3
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to 4.
Is it?
Japanese 3 is like your 4 unnamed characters. You have no
Yeah, yeah,
story
yeah.
at all. 2
Yeah.
2 has unique characters with stories. But 1 and 3 are just name these characters and you play
Yep.
as them the whole game.
Yep.
And obviously jumping to the Super Nintendo, which is where FF4 was the first one, on that system.
Yep.
The storytelling, even in its original form when the translations weren't great,
Yeah.
whatever, still the storytelling was actually very good, and like the character development was
So good.
so great. Right in the
Yeah.
first like minutes
Yeah.
when you're playing as Cecil, and
Yeah.
he's like he is immediately like feeling like guilt that he just
Yeah.
had to like raid this city and he doesn't
Yeah.
understand why. And
Yeah.
like the game communicates that out so well in the first like 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if anyone likes Final Fantasy 4 and have never played the Steam 3D remake version. That was the DS version.
Mm.
Some of those cutscenes are played out in like full voice acting, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
even better. Like just like
yeah.
you, and it's Yuri Lowenthal, I believe, is Cecil's
Oh, okay,
voice
nice. Yeah,
in
yeah,
that one, and just so good. But yeah, just the like his Cecil's reservations about doing what he does. He's like questioning the king, but he's like so loyal, and you find this all out in like the first like 20 minutes. It's
yeah,
like the king raised him because he was like, I think he was like an orphan essentially.
yeah.
And so he's just like got that loyalty, like, to him, and doesn't want to say no to him or whatever, but he like clearly feels like so much guilt, and he's like, because he's a dark knight, he feels like it's like eating his like away at his soul, like
Yeah.
it's really dark like at some points.
And I think a lot of that is what makes the payoff of becoming a paladin later on,
Yeah,
of just kind of like, finally, this guy's been tortured for so long,
yeah,
just with like
just
his,
shedding that. And
yeah, yeah, and like his friendship with Cain and all these kind of things. Like, there's just so much kind of going on
yeah,
with him emotionally that, like, anyway, it's just a really powerful character, a really good character development.
and one thing that makes stuff like that just feel more, maybe tangible is the word I'm looking for,
Mm,
is the way the game will mechanically be consistent with some of these narrative beats. So what I mean by that is when you become a paladin, you're
mm,
like level, when you get there's a dark knight, you're like level, I don't
yeah,
know, like 15 or 20 or something. I forget how, it's not that
yeah,
far in, but let's say you're level 20.
yeah,
You become a paladin, you're level 1.
yeah, no,
You
exactly,
it's like,
yeah,
so you're like literally like resetting, and like they didn't have, they could have just put you at your level you were, but it's like
yeah.
narratively like you're
No,
starting fresh kind of
you don't
thing.
know what you're doing. You don't know how to, like, you've completely changed your life.
Right.
And try, it's like, I know how to be a paladin. I know how to be a dark knight and wield these kind of swords, but this is a complete life choice difference, and I'm probably gonna be pretty terrible at it for a little while.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I love how the game will work those. And this is kind of part of the thing we were talking about, a couple weeks ago, where like when you just didn't have the technology to convey some of these complex things,
Mm,
that is a way to very simply like like make you feel like, yeah, this is a he's resetting
yeah.
everything. Like he's
Yeah.
starting over as a paladin or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just by putting your level back down to 1 mechanically, but
Yeah.
narratively, it makes a lot more sense, and you feel it more. And another thing, two other things that this game does very well, similarly to that. I forgot about. I didn't think about that until you brought up that conversion that he does.
Mm,
So I had two other ones that I had thought of, where so they use a lot of like magic in like outside of battle in this
yeah.
game,
Yeah.
like as part of like a cutscene, or if you
The
can call it
story.
part of
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
Um, and two ways that plays into the narrative in a really cool way is, so since Rydia's, who by the way I fucking love Rydia, she's like one of my favorite characters in those
Yeah.
2D Final Fantasies. Um, she, because her city was burned
Yeah.
by you,
Yeah.
be it accidentally. Um, she doesn't learn fire. She won't use it
Yeah. Yeah.
until you get to a point where it's, path is blocked
Yeah.
by ice, and so Rosa like talks her into doing it or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's like an emotional like consequence of, she's afraid of fire because her
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
entire village was burned to the ground, and all, her friends and people, that she grew up with in that village had burned to death, like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, so you can't pick a fire spell,
right.
and so it makes you kind of like feel that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that it just has such like an emotional impact. And then the other thing is, And I always thought this was funny when like Cecil goes and becomes a paladin.
Mm.
Tella, the sage, is like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, give me 1 second. I remember everything now." He's just like he's like trying to like it's like just let Cecil have his moment, and you just come in, and you're like, "Oh, look at me! I just learned a bunch of stuff too." I always thought it was funny. It didn't ruin it for me. I just find it's really funny, but it's because the pace is so fast in that game.
Yeah.
They don't bother going on this big side quest for him. They just
Yeah.
put it as part of the other one. But when he does that and he learns all of his spells, because his whole goal is to learn Meteor
Yeah.
to kill Golbez for
Yeah.
killing his daughter or whatever. Um, so when he does that thing, he learns Meteor, but
Yeah.
it costs 99 MP, and he
Yeah.
never gets more than 90. He caps
Yeah.
out when he's
Yeah.
leveling at 90 MP.
Yeah.
So it's like he knows how to you do it, but he can't. He's like not strong enough to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then later on, spoiler alert, he dies. And it's like in a fight with Golbez, and he's like pushed, the party's helpless or whatever, and he's like, they're like, no, like don't cast it, like you can't, you can't handle it, and it's like he's casting it, and he doesn't have the resources to cast it, and it kills him, like it like drains his life force or whatever to do that, and it's like, if this was a fully 3D game, that would just be a cutscene or something, which would be great. But it's like the way to like portray that in this 2D just top down like text based thing, to use the actual in-game mechanics to like tell that part of the story.
It's right there, but your stats don't.
You're not strong enough to like this. You can't do it. You're not strong enough, and because you're not strong enough, and you did it anyway, that's what killed him. So I love that stuff.
That's really cool, and it's like, look, the game does didn't have. It's kind of like it could just not be in your inventory of spells,
right?
But it's like, no, it's there, and it's like we could put it there, and it's almost like they're thinking of this like a logic puzzle. You know what I mean? Like, which is cool.
Yeah, they could easily just make you learn every other spell, and then he'll use that spell in the cutscene or whatever. Which is fine because it would effectively tell the same story. But it's just like, it just makes it feel more like not legitimate, but like,
I know what you mean. Like
it like makes it make more sense that like, he knows the spell or whatever, but he can't do it. And then he does it, and he pushes himself too far.
And sometimes it's like, it's being true to the rules of the world of Final Fantasy. Where it's like, because I can imagine like playing is like, oh, I need to learn Meteor to defeat Golbez, and then you're in a battle and you're like, well, why isn't it here? How do I learn Meteor? It's just like, it's like, this is if those are the rules of the game, then what are then why doesn't that one rule translate into this? And it's like, no, it's there, but you just don't. And then you're like, oh, I just need to level up a bunch to get to that. So I'm going to work hard and try to get to that. But then something bad happens, and it's like, no, but I've been working towards this. It's just kind of like playing by the rules of the game and making it fall within the mechanisms of the game.
That's actually a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't... Because like if that happens, it's like I could think let's just say like if I got to a point that was too hard, and it's like, oh, I'll just learn this get out of jail free move that like I'm fine, and it's like it takes away. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it just feels less earned, or I don't know what the right way to put it, but yeah, it stays within the rules very. Like in a very good, like a smart way, and that actually makes the storytelling stronger.
Yeah, it's like you're not leaning on a crutch like a Deus Ex Machina, kind of just like, oh, okay, because I'm in trouble, I'm gonna learn this whatever spell via a mechanism that's completely outside of the rules of the game. It's like,
Right.
no, it's there. You just don't have enough MP. Like, oh, okay, that's why. Okay. And
Yeah.
um it tracks a little bit too to something that we mentioned a little while ago where I was like, what what is it like in real life? Like
Yeah.
having one HP. What does
Yeah.
that
I was
mean?
thinking of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And it's like,
Um,
what happens if you're out of MP? Like, what does that mean? It's
what
like,
does
oh,
that
you're
feel
like,
like?
yeah, you are
Yeah.
like, you are on death's door, or not death's door, but like you have nothing left to give, like just stamina wise.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like, so what if you did something that you didn't have the capacity for? That's like the consequences of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And like if you're I can't remember which Final Fantasy this would kind of be most applicable to, but like sometimes for a summon monster or an Esper or something like that, it takes longer to summon them, and
right,
they're kind of just like concentrating or
right,
whatever. But it's kind of just like, what is that? Like what are you doing? What are you thinking of? How
right.
are you conjuring up magic, and why does it require
A
20
resource.
MP yeah, instead of 5? Like, how is that harder? I mean, I don't know. I can't cast magic, but but,
Right.
but like, how is that draining? And what do these stats kind of feel like? And doing this in Final Fantasy IV, I feel like is a step closer towards making immersion of it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And like you said, because it stays within the rules that it created,
Mm.
it's like you get a better sense of, oh, like that's what happens when you're out of MP. And if you go into the negative, like
Yeah.
you are done. Like and
And
he's really old. And it's funny because I don't know if the Pixel Remaster does this, but I remember this in the original. Sometimes when you level up, when Tella would level up, one of his stats would go down. Like
oh, really?
because he's such just like a feeble old man. It's like
Uh,
his like defense would, or his speed would go down 1 point or something. Like it
eh.
was something like that. I didn't notice if it did it in the Pixel Remaster, but I remember very clearly that what happened in like the OG, and I think the 3D remake they did that too.
And
Just
and yeah,
because,
again,
yeah,
it's like Final Fantasy. You've established these rules on how to turn real life into a game. So play by those rules to tell the story and make us feel what each of these stats does
right,
to tell a story. And all roads lead to Final Fantasy VII. So I'm kind of thinking I really like how that ties in here because it's like Sephiroth wasn't just like so powerful that he summoned a crazy spell. No, he was after a type of materia. Again, the rules of the game.
yeah.
If you want to do that, you got to find some sort of materia. And
He didn't just find one materia, put it in a sword, and cast meteor and destroyed the world.
yeah, exactly. It's hard to do. Or it's not that he just became so powerful that he was able to conjure it up. It's like, no, people are only able to use magic because of materia. Ergo, find the most baller materia ever,
Right.
and so he knew that was the rule of the game. I gotta find this materia,
Yeah.
and he was after that. And then same thing to counter it. You needed that white materia, and try do what you can to cast holy and all these kind of things. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah,
So yeah, I love when a game will use its mechanics to further like a narrative moment,
yeah,
or enhance a narrative moment, as opposed, I mean, I'm fine with flashy cutscenes too. I love, don't get me wrong, I love
yeah,
those. Was why I love JRPGs so much.
yeah,
But yeah, when they integrate the mechanics, so because it's like you don't have to further explain that mechanic to me, because I know what it means when when your MP or is not
yeah,
high enough to cast a spell. Like I have a
yeah,
general sense of, yeah, you're not strong enough to use that spell. Like that
yeah,
already makes sense to me. So it's like it
yeah,
just like anchors that in that into a thing you already understand with the game, and give
yeah,
it a different kind of consequence, or
yeah, yeah,
it's just. And so playing them all in sequence now, 1 through 6, this is definitely the first one that really drives that really nails that part.
Yeah.
And I feel like 6 does it enough because like the espers are such a part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so like I know there's a lot of it in that, and you know, I haven't played 6 since like, well, since it came out on Steam, so like it's not even that long ago. It was like a year ago, year and a half maybe. But
Sure.
I'll be curious just if I notice more of that after I, you know, just it's one of those things. And again, this is why I want us to do this podcast. Is like this is stuff I'll think of when I'm playing it, but then I'll
Yeah.
just like it'll stop there, and you know, I'll remember it when I play it again. But so it's like writing the
Yeah.
stuff down like in preparation for a podcast episode. It just
Yeah.
helps me like really like dive into those things more and think about them more.
Well, a lot of these things I'll be like, I think this is interesting, but no one else thinks this is interesting.
Sure, that too. Yeah.
No, but then I'll talk to you, and then it's like, oh no, you had the same thought, and then other
Yeah.
people see, who kind of seen us do this as well. So it's like, oh okay, maybe other people do think
Yeah.
these stupid little things. On the topic, this is a pretty good rabbit hole that we can go down forever if we're not careful. But like stuff like I always think, okay, so this is you got this new sword, and equipping it means okay, yeah, you have a sheath, and you got, or I get this new helmet. Equipping it means yeah, you put it on your head, whatever, a bangle, any sort of like trinket or ribbon or whatever.
Yeah.
And like materia, like what does equipping materia mean? And it was like in remake, it was like in the Buster Sword, there's those two holes, and so they'd be
Yeah.
in it. It's like, oh, okay, that's what I always thought, but now they're kind of
Yeah.
confirming
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
And every sword has, like, you can see Tifa, she had materia like literal slots in the gloves. Like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to know. Like,
Yeah.
what is equipping materia?
And you know those first screenshots that surfaced when you saw materia in Cloud Sword, like before the game came out, everyone immediately was like noticed that and pointed out that like, oh, there's two green ones in this screenshot, and there's a blue and a yellow one, and so they actually matter which ones you have slotted in.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I wonder, like, what does equipping an Esper mean? Like, so what is that? Is it like
because it's like a little crystal that they reside in.
Yeah,
do you just carry that crystal, or do you like
absorb it or something, or like what is it?
Yeah.
Wear it around your neck. Like what is, anyway, so it's like I love this game so much, and I want to know how this is, like, if it was real kind of thing. So
I think I like the idea of it being a necklace.
Yeah.
You like put it around your neck, and it's like it like binds to you or whatever, and then it like that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
That's where you learn the powers from, because it's just hanging there.
And it's like, why? Because if it's like, oh, do you just carry it around in your pocket? Then why don't you just carry around
all of them? Yeah, exactly. yeah. And maybe it's like, maybe it like drains you, or like, what effect does it have on you that you're absorbing that power from it? Like, if you tried to absorb more than one, would you die? Like,
no, exactly. Yeah. So some of those little things I find interesting, and I like it when, to your point, where games use mechanics to kind of tell a story, or I guess the rabbit hole I'm kind of peeking down is I like it when games kind of explain how a menu action, what the consequences are in real life. Like I equipped materia on my Buster Sword instead of my bangle, and you can see it in the sword instead of whatever. And
that's so. I love that stuff, man.
Yeah.
This is just why I love video games, is for stuff like that. And for this, it's just like the way they use that to just tell the story. And where they can't do it visually, like something like seeing the materia in the Buster Sword, It's just more of like a narrative impact that it has.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. We could talk about that at length. So that's really cool. That gives me something to think about too. I'm gonna be thinking about that when I go through 6 now. And it's like, man, if we ever got some kind of a 3D remake or HD pixel, like Octopath style, like that's what I would want to see out of that. Is like, just show me what espers are. Show me how they work. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I also just like the reverse of that, the obscene things that video games do that were just like, yeah, sure, why not? Is I saw this tweet of it was like how this is how you kill God or something, and it was just Edgar with a chainsaw just like spinning, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I don't care.
Hey, listen, if all he had was 1000 HP and that's what you did, like, hey, sorry, that's the rule of the game.
It wasn't even so there. It wasn't even like because the chainsaw does an instant kill or just damage. Yeah, and it wasn't even the instant, it was the spinning one.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
picture him fighting this god and just
meanwhile, so everyone's been like throwing fireballs at him and summoning meteors. Guys, I got this. Hold on.
It's like, what do you got? Just like,
hey guys,
I don't know if you remember this episode,
gasoline.
I don't know if you remember this episode of Always Sunny when I think they were trying to find out, or they thought someone was a serial killer, and they like found a bunch of severed heads in their fridge because they were like, I don't remember how they got there, but it was very accidentally that they actually found the guy.
Yeah.
And Frank kept saying he wanted to hold a chainsaw to him to make him talk, and they all kept telling me he was crazy or whatever. And he brings it, and at the very end of the episode, the guy walks in, and he's like, what are you people doing in my apartment? And Frank just he just starts, and the episode's over. That was like what I was picturing. Everyone's like, are you gonna help? 1 sec.
Yeah. Come on. I'm not. It's not. I got to choke it properly. Oh, God damn it. Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. Out of the way.
And there was on this note of that, there was also, I think I might have told you about this before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but there was a meme with Brooklyn Nine-Nine where it was like a crossover episode with that and New Girl, and it was Jake Peralta. He like stopped Jessica Day. I forget the joke, but he asked her something that only a New Yorker would know, but he asked it way too easy of a question or something like that. And
that's the mechanic of the joke. It's like I set the bar too low. That's on me.
And it's like, I've played every Final Fantasy or something, and it's like, I don't even might have just been JRPG. It might not even have been fun, but I love JRPGs. Oh yeah, name one final boss. God, that's my fault. That's my fault.
That's my fault. I set the bar too low. I love that meme.
I know.
There are so many like JRPG, Final Fantasy references. Yeah.
And it's like,
name one final boss. God. Yep. Sorry. That's on me.
Because I just played through, and I'll talk about it in another episode, but I just played through the Xenoblade 3 story DLC. I just finished it last night. It's like, yeah, you're just fighting another god, basically. Even in the DLC. Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
I haven't played 4 in a very long time. I've seen like some speed runs of some stuff, and so like the story I kind of remember a bit. I do remember it being a little weird, and maybe the narrative is better than I'm giving it credit for. But like at one point you go to the moon.
Oh yeah,
and I remember playing it just like, oh okay, final. Oh nope, the moon now. Okay, sure, why not?
So I think maybe makes more sense narratively now. I'm trying to remember the 3D remake gave a couple more cutscenes of young Cecil and like his relationship with his father. And because like they're from the moon, like they're Lunarians or whatever. And so, but it is still like, yeah, okay, go to the moon, sure.
The moon, I guess, sure, why not?
Which is exactly what the current expansion of 14 did, because it's so FF4 heavy on references.
Yeah.
You literally go to the moon to fight a god.
Yeah.
And that was like halfway through the expansion. Wasn't even the end.
I love that meme. I remember seeing that a while ago. That's just so good, so perfect.
So
I feel like there was another one that was like, it's like you're a Final Fantasy fan. Name 3 spells. It's like fire 1, 2, and 3. It's like, okay, yeah, that's my bad. I haven't set the bar too low there.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's all I really wanted to say about Final Fantasy IV. Just playing that game again, and even when I played it when it came out on PC, the Pixel Remaster, I like played that, and then I immediately just played the 3D version right after.
Oh wow!
Because there's some parts about that I really like. I like a little more, and it's definitely more challenging. The 3D remake is harder. The Pixel Remaster scales a little easier, it seems. But I found a mod that took the music of the remaster and put it in the 3D remake, because the 3D remake music quality isn't the greatest because it was a DS game.
Yeah.
And it worked just like put this file here and you're done.
I guess.
So I wanted to play through it again to like play that version, but with all the better music and stuff. But yeah, awesome. I just love that game. It does a lot of really cool things that's new to the series. And just uses the in-game mechanics so well to enhance its like storytelling.
That's awesome.
I just feel like I had to talk about it. So
I'll get around to playing the Pixel Remasters sometime soon, because I mean, once you play through 6, I feel like that's going to be pretty nostalgic for me. So that might be a tipping point.
Yeah, for sure. Especially nice because you can buy them one of the, you don't have to buy them together. So even if you just wanted to like pick up like 4 and 6, that's something you can do. So okay, so let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We're gonna talk. I want you to tell me about the Horizon. Was it Burning Shores? Is that what it's called? The DLC?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you just were playing that, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about some Zelda stuff since we're so close to Tears of the Kingdom. I gotta I've been avoiding all media, so I just need to say a few things about Zelda.
Media blackout period.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come right back.
Cool. All right. See you in a sec.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back. So yeah, let's move right along. Matt, you've been playing the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC. I wanted to play it so bad, but I just can't right now because of all the stuff coming out. I don't want to have to get it and rush through it in like 2 or 3 days. And it also takes me a while to like remember everything you can do in that game, like control wise. So I'll get to it, later in the year if we get a lull after like Final Fantasy 16. But yeah, tell me about what it's been like, because it hasn't been that long since you finished the base game, right?
Yeah. I finished the base game maybe like right before Christmas or something like that. Okay. So and I loved the first one, and the story of the first one was just amazing. Story of this one was really good. Even though like I'd go on side quests for months on end, and like what is even the actual story? But then when I New Game Plused it for the platinum, I just like no side quests, just
true. You could just beeline right through.
So okay, this story kind of get a better sense of that, not just going to explore the ginormous world that is the Forbidden West. But so it was quite recently that I had played it, so it took me a little bit of time to remember like how do I do things
Yeah.
again? All of like your staff kind of combos and my build and all the arrows and things like that that
Yeah.
I preferred to use. Um, so no, it didn't take me long to get back into it, and the story is really, really good. It's you kind of go to a new area altogether, and it's no
So
spoilers.
is it
Um,
like a slice out of? Does it take place after the story of the main game, or is it like no,
yes.
this happened? Oh, it does. Okay,
So like I think you have to finish the game
cool.
before, and so it takes place after you learn of the nemesis threat and all of
Okay,
that stuff. So,
cool.
um,
Ooh, that really
and
makes me want to play it then. If it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
continuation, yeah.
Yep. And it's yeah, so some awesome characters. Kind of you kind of meet a bunch more of the um oh man, I keep forgetting all the different kind of tribes and things like
Ooh,
that, but
yeah, I wouldn't remember.
anyway, so like just more people from the one that the fanatical kind of religious ones that you meet at the end
Okay,
with Ayla or something. Anyway,
I know who you
uh
mean. I can't remember what they're called.
yeah, just like another faction of that tribe, whatever,
Okay,
with the old focus.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And anyway, so I don't want to spoil any parts of it for you, but it's pretty good. The dialogues that you have with some people are really fun. And
I was
just
reading, and I don't know if this is true. If you, I don't know if you noticed or not. I thought I was reading that like they improved like the visuals of the game, even just in the DLC. Like the DLC looks better than the
yeah,
base game,
like
like visually.
the one character you meet, her name's like Seika. I remember being like, "Whoa, she like her character model seems like she looks way more realistic than." And the character models look pretty realistic in that
Yeah.
game, but I was like, "Wow, this is." I remember kind of saying like she looks more real than anyone I've seen in the
Okay.
game, kind of so far. Um, and just whole bunch new monsters to or machines to fight, like with
Right.
different things that blow up and different
Yeah.
things to shred off of them, whatever. So just I'm just gonna fight this gigantic, horde of monsters for a little while and kind of
Yeah.
go off on a side quest. And there's another cauldron to do, and I
Okay.
love the cauldrons.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like getting reacquainted with all the weapons that I loved. I love shredding parts off of
I know.
like that's my favorite thing.
It's so satisfying.
And like of course the whatever arrow, I can't remember what, but the
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
like the
Yeah.
shockwave or whatever it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I started to really get into the like the shredder one, like where you throw it and it kind of comes back.
Yes.
And
Oh wait,
that
I don't remember that. I remember a javelin you would throw and it would drill.
yeah, so and the javelins is one of my favorite new weapons.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's like almost like a frisbee disc thing that kind of comes back and it kind of goes in, drills in, and kind of comes back, shredding parts all over the place. So
Cool.
it's like this gigantic thing now. No more weapon, no more armor. It's just like you're nothing. Now I'm gonna actually do damage to you. But anyway, it takes place kind of like in LA and Hollywood.
Okay.
So it's kind of just cool to be running around like, oh, there's the Hollywood sign, but it's just
All
things
destroyed and
all
yeah, yeah.
destroyed. But anyway, it's pretty fun time. I really enjoyed it.
Because I saw a lot of buzz just about how good it looked, even better than the base game, like just
Yep.
generally. And
Yep.
then very shortly after, I'm pretty sure I saw that they confirmed they're working on Horizon 3,
Okay. Yep.
which will likely be like, because this game is also not even PS5 exclusive. It actually is a PS4 game as well.
Oh wow. Huh.
So like, if the next one is PS5 only, it'll be like totally untethered, like
Yeah.
the lengths they can go to make it look even
Oh man.
better. So,
And
um,
the end boss is you kind of just need to like pause for a second and you're like, what is even happening? Yeah. And it's like, wait, really? Like, okay, sure. Like, this is insane.
Okay.
And Aloy just like cracking jokes and whatever.
Sure.
Anyways, it's a good time.
Okay, and you beat it, right? Well, yeah, end
Yeah,
boss. You just said end
yeah.
boss. How
Um,
long did it take you to get through? I mean, I know you were doing side stuff too, but
yeah,
like
like
that would be
I
stuff
mean,
I would do too anyway.
I'd say like I played it a lot over the course of last weekend. So I
Okay.
like several days Saturday, or several hours Saturday, several hours Sunday, um, doing some side quests. So yeah, kind of I'd say a weekend of playing it a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. Um, I'll be curious though. Again, no spoilers, but at the end, after you beat it, you kind of can go talk to people for some extra dialogues, like which are essentially still a part of the main quest. Like it's like go,
Sure.
now that you've beaten whatever, go
Like an
talk to
epilogue
whatever.
kind of.
Uh, yeah, yeah. And so you have a choice with like the brain, heart, or fist kind of like emotion
Yeah, yeah, I
or
remember
whatever.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just let me know which one you pick.
Sure.
And I'll let you know which one I picked.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that game. I really like both, and even the first one, it came out. The first Horizon came out like 6 days before Breath of the Wild,
Oh, okay.
and so I like bought it because I really wanted to play it. But I was like, I couldn't beat it before Breath of the Wild because it came out like I was working, right? So I could only
Yeah.
play at night or whatever. Um, and I just remember like cramming as much as I could of that game, and then going to play Breath of the Wild for like a month and a half straight, and then finally coming back. I'm like, okay, let me get back to this and finish this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, and when it came out on the second one came out, I don't think anything else came out around it for me that I was playing, so I got to like actually just like focus on that game
Yeah.
until I got all the way through it.
And I just love like the first one was so good, and like and in the second, I think it's in the second one with like Silence torturing
Yeah,
the AI or whatever. Like just the storytelling is so well done.
yeah,
So yeah,
cool. It's definitely high on my list to get to that.
yeah,
It just literally it I did not have time to get
yeah,
to it now.
yeah.
So once we get a lull after this tidal wave of games, I'll definitely
And
get around to it.
so I had like platinum Crisis Core, and I said, okay, what's next? And I was like, oh, you know what? A quick DLC, because
Yeah,
otherwise it'll
for a
get
weekend.
lost.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. No, that was perfect timing. It's like I got a
Cool.
weekend ahead of me, nothing really on the go. And it's like with a long, rough week of work, and it's like I just need to chill and do nothing this
Yeah,
weekend. So
yeah.
that was the perfect antidote, refresher. So
Perfect.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to check in to see how that went because I'm definitely very interested, and
Mm,
I'm gonna get to it at some point too.
yeah.
Um, so I kind of already I've alluded to this about Breath of the Wild coming out around the same time. So being that Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom comes out this Friday, I just wanted to talk a couple reasons why. Number one, why I just love Breath of the Wild so much. For how it reinvented a lot of like the Zelda. It ditched the 3D Zelda formula that has existed since Ocarina of Time.
Mm,
And also one of the reasons why I feel like you would really like it when we, eventually get you to a Switch. Um, okay, so couple just so much has been said about this game already, but a couple things that I really love about this game that I think are worth pointing out. So this game does such a good job at setting you up to just explore wherever the hell you want to explore
mm.
and not punishing you for doing that. And what I mean by that is like, games I've played, other open world games or whatever, where you go on these side questing tangents for hours and then you go back to the main quest and you're just one shotting everything. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like it's hard to pace that,
Yeah, yeah.
well. So the thing I love about this game, the setup of it is like you start on this like one, it's called the Great Plateau, and it's like this
Mm-hmm.
one sort of, well, plateau, I guess, but you
Mm-hmm.
can't access the rest of the world yet because you
Yeah.
need the glider thing that you
Mm-hmm.
use, which, by the way, Horizon Zero Dawn, definite
Yeah.
inspiration from Breath of the Wild by giving you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So and you got to finish like the quests on that opening area to get this glider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's like 4 of these like little mini dungeons on the starting area, and I think it's 4 of them. Yeah, and they give you the tools that you're like
Mm-hmm.
basically the only tools you're gonna need for the whole game. It
Mm-hmm.
gives you the remote bombs, the cryonis, I think it's called, which is just creating like a little pillar of ice on
Yeah.
any water. Magnesis, which moves metallic objects around, like you you
Yeah.
aim at and you can move it around and do a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff like that. And stasis, I think it's called, where you can freeze an
Mm.
object for a couple seconds, and if you hit it, it will store that momentum, and then you unfreeze it.
Mm.
It'll, whatever. And there's a lot of puzzles for that. And you just do those 4 things on this main area, and then it's like, okay, here's your glider. Every dungeon in the game you can solve now with these like 4 tools. Sometimes you
Yeah.
need like a fire arrow or something, which is usually it'll give you in the dungeon or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, those aren't that scarce. But it's not like go to a dungeon, get the item, use that item to solve the dungeon, and then use that item against the boss's weak point. It's like not that at all. And everywhere you go in that game, every little like distracting, like, oh, what's over here? Oh, what's over here? It always gives you something valuable.
Oh, wow.
Because the weapons in that game have durability, which a lot of people don't like, but I actually love it. Where after you use the weapon, and it's not even that, you don't use it that long before it'll tell you that it's about to break.
Yeah.
So it's like you always need to like resupply your weapons because they'll break. And it's like the first Zelda game where you actually like need to use like the economy of rupees in that game, because like you don't just find arrows. Very rarely will you just find them like on the under a pot or whatever. So especially the special type of arrows are a lot harder to find. So it's like a lot of selling monster materials or whatever to get rupees to resupply your arrow cache or whatever.
Cool.
And I feel like it's the first Zelda game, the first 3D Zelda game that you really. Some of them had side quests where you just had to dump a lot of money into things, which is like whatever. That's like, it's not the same as just constantly needing to spend your rupees on something. I'm not sitting at 999 rupees for 7 hours. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it does that stuff really well. It always rewards you for going places, and the thing I love is how it doesn't punish you for doing that stuff. Is like every enemy in the world. I mean, I could be speaking a little out of turn, but this is how I understand it. Every enemy in like the world is at like a specific starting level. And they're all like that. No matter where you go, they're all at their starting level. There's 4 like main dungeons and then the final dungeon that you eventually do. And every time you clear one of those main dungeons and get the cutscene and it's over, it's like the world levels up. So all of the enemies that started at level 1 are at level 2 now. And if any that started at level 2, they're at level 3 now, and so on. And every time you complete like a main story, dungeon or whatever, there might be another instance where that happens too, but I think it's just those 4 main ones. It just, the world gets stronger every time. So it's like, and there's no like it's not like a traditional like RPG leveling up system. So it's not a matter of that, but like the weapons that those harder enemies carry are better weapons than what they were when you first started, kind of thing. So it's just like the world just continuously gets more threatening as you get stronger. And so I never once felt like I was like outshining the things I was fighting. As I went through that game for the first time. So I didn't feel guilty about going on all these rants, because like that's one thing, and this is what the first Xenoblade Chronicles does that I love, is you can level yourself down at any time. and it'll just store your XP. So then you can go back up to where you were. But it's like, I just did a bunch of side quests and I'm level 50. The boss of this chapter is level 35. I'm going to drop my level down to 35 so I can have a traditional boss fight. So, it gives that sort of feeling where you're not just outpacing the game by doing extra stuff. And it's just fun as hell to go on those tangents, because the whole thing about Breath of the Wild is you can climb almost any surface in that game.
Oh, wow.
You just have stamina for how long you can climb before you have to drink a potion or whatever. But my God, it's fun just like seeing that point and no loading screen. It's like, I'm going to start climbing. I'm going to get up there eventually, sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And we like a good side quest.
Yes. So that's what I was saying. Yeah.
So not punishing us for doing that. And it's interesting that and I like it that you use the word punishing you in two contexts. And in one way, it's like it's punishing you by making the game too easy. A punishment is like what I experienced with Crisis Core. I did a crap ton of these missions, and then I going through the game and just like one-shotting every boss, and I was like, oh man, like come on.
Some people love that, granted, but like I love when the bosses like push back.
Yeah. And so anyway, it's like, but I just love doing side quests so much.
I know, yeah. It's hard to give that up because I also love doing that.
And I think it's like almost, I do them as like, it's gonna be too hard. I need to level up a little bit. But my little bit is just like
100 missions.
Yeah, exactly. Whoopsie. Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, that's interesting.
And then, so when that game first came out, it was a Wii U and a Switch game. Like it came out simultaneous release because it actually came out the day the Switch came out.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't afford a Switch at the time because it was only announced like 2 months before the release date was announced. 2 or 3 months. And so I bought it on Wii U and I like 100% of that game. I did everything. So there's like these micro puzzles throughout the world that you uncover these things called Koroks. They're like these little seedling, creatures. And you need the thing they give you to increase your inventory space for weapons, shields, ranged weapons, and so on. And there's 900 of them in the game.
Oh, wow.
And I found I found like a map that lets you like check them off as you get them. So it was easier once you get to the multiple hundreds to like start like looking, because it'll mark it on your map in the game when you collected that one.
Okay.
In that spot. It's still easy to like miss one or misclick one. So there's a little bit of just looking at the map back and forth, like to find the ones you're missing. But I think it took me like 130 hours to do that. And because you also, to get 100%, you have to uncover every like area of the game, so the name of that place will show up on your map, and there is no easy way to like check that off a list somewhere.
Wow.
I just had to look up list of ones that are usually missed
and
check those, and then anyway, that is the part that took, I think the last one I needed probably took me like 6 or 7 hours to find it.
Did you then 100% it on the Switch?
Yeah.
Or classic. So I don't even know why I asked that question.
That's what I was leading into. Like a year or so later, I don't remember when I got a Switch. I think it was like the following holiday, like November, December area after it came out. Of course I was gonna buy the Switch version because it also just looked nicer and ran better. And I was like, I'll just play through it again. I already 100%ed it, whatever. But it shows you the percent completion on your map after you beat the game. And I'm like, I can't sit here and have that be anything less than 100%.
Yeah.
So I did it all again. I did it again. And I have no regrets at all. And people will be like, oh, what? Like, because you don't even need that many of the Koroks, the 900. You don't even need that many to fill out all of your inventory. Like, you cap out after like 400 or something.
Yeah.
But it's just like it just leads you into every inch of the map. So there's areas I never even saw, but I'm going there for a Korok, and it's just like it was so fun to just and
Explore.
you could pin up to 5 things at a time that it'll be like a beam of light when you're looking in game,
Yeah,
and it'll
yeah,
be on your mini map. And
yeah.
so I would just go to the map and I'd look at 5 and I was like, and I would pin
But
5 and I would go on that way and do
that's
that.
like I've got
5
5
more.
things to do. Yeah,
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 exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I like
God,
it
it was fun.
when maps allow you to pin points of interest, especially if they let you do multiple and
Yeah,
different colors or something like that. Because then it's just like you're not looking on your screen or your page or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
nope, no, I'm good.
You
Yeah,
got
for the next 5.
your next 5 objectives lined up or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Get
um,
one of those pins to the top of my screen and just go straight.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it's just I could say more about Breath of the Wild, and I probably will later once I get my sink my teeth in the Tears of the Kingdom, because I'll be comparing them a lot. But I love that game so much. And okay, this is the other thing I want to say. People also complain about it not having traditional dungeons that the 3D Zeldas have,
Okay.
where it's like 120 mini dungeons just
Oh.
scattered. And then the 4 story ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, People don't like that and they would rather, but it's like I love that because there's always a dungeon that I get to in Zelda that I'm like, oh god, okay,
Yeah.
like let me just slog through this one. I don't like this one or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like the puzzles or what. And it's just like, because every time you play it, you don't have to do those 120 shrines in any order at all,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't need things from one to be able to solve one puzzle in another. So
Yeah.
you don't get that same gameplay flow where you're like, oh, here's the part I don't like.
The water
Um,
temple, or
right, or
whatever. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
yeah,
So I love that it's like that, because it's just like it makes the subsequent playthroughs just feel both fresh and
yeah.
not exactly the same, and you just don't get those like really bogged down moments that are coming, and you just got to
Yeah,
power
yeah,
through it and then move on, kind of thing.
yeah.
So I love
No,
that
that's
they
cool.
do that. So I don't know, because I've been avoiding stuff now. I don't know if the new game does those or not, or if they have more traditional dungeons. I'm down to try it either way. Like, they've obviously done a lot of thinking to rethink the way this
Yeah.
stuff works. So even if they do normal dungeons, I'm sure I will like whatever they come up with. But yeah, I just goddamn Breath of the Wild is so good, and it's crazy to think that the sequel is so close, because like Breath of the Wild was first announced in like 2012 and came out in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And then they announced that there was a sequel in 2019, but then
Yeah.
they did not talk about it at all until like last year,
Oh, wow.
until they started showing stuff. So it feels crazy, because the last Zelda I just remember thinking about constantly for like 5 years.
Yeah.
But that's a good problem to have, because that just means it's out soon and I'm gonna be playing it. I was literally looking at like stuff for Street Fighter 6, because I'm still
Yep.
obsessing with that, and I'm like, man, I will already have beaten Zelda by the time I'm playing this game. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just like, and that gets me excited. So do you remember there's like a Simpsons reference? I don't remember what the joke was, but it was Apu like flying, or like a hummingbird in his, just like
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It's like I get to a point when a big game is coming out, like a week before, where like that's how I feel now. I'm just like
Yeah.
vibrating all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Just
Yeah.
think of that, stupid.
Awesome. Yeah. He had worked 72 hours straight. I thought he was a hummingbird or
That's what
something.
it was. Yeah. It's just like, that'll be me in the next 4 days, just like
Yeah.
just
So
getting so
excited.
excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Oh, I'll
So
be
yeah,
excited when you come out the other end and you emerge from your blackout. To
yeah,
see how the game's going.
yeah. Well, the next time we do an episode, I'll probably will have beaten the game.
Mm,
So I'll have plenty to gush about, I'm sure.
nice.
So yeah, very excited. Can't believe it's only a couple days away. Um, Yeah, and that's all I want to say about Breath of the Wild for now. It's the way it does open world is the way I feel like most open world games should handle it. Because, like you said, I never felt like it was punishing me for doing side stuff, which to me is important. So,
I saw something, maybe it was you who shared it or whatever, but it was just like Link getting the Triforce, and it was like, okay, what's your one wish? And it was like, this shows him playing a Nintendo, and it's like The Legend of Link. And he was like, yeah. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Cool.
So, like I said, I'll talk about Zelda more after, but I just wanted to get that out of the way because it felt appropriate to talk about Zelda the week before a new game comes out. So you have to get going soon. I do have a quick game that I want us to play that I think we could do in 15 minutes or so.
Let's do it.
So I was telling Matt before we recorded, I was gonna do like a true or false game with Tekken lore, but that will just take me longer to
you need to do your research.
Yeah, I need to research and put my creative hat on when I do that. So, but the absurdity of Tekken lore and story and anything Tekken related is just so fun to me. And I just feel like they lean all the way into it. So I still wanted to do something Tekken related. So I'm going to give you, this is what I came up with. I don't know. I didn't come up with a name for this game. That doesn't matter. So I have brought up a move list for Paul King, who is apparently King 2 in Tekken 7. Didn't know that.
Okay.
And hold on.
Okay.
So I have, because I picked 3 of your characters.
Paul, King, and Horong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the name of a move.
Okay.
And I need you to tell me whose move is it. Okay. Because a lot of them don't make sense at all. So how I'll do it, and this is what I came up with, if it's too easy, I can make it harder. So I'm going to give you 3 move names, and they will be evenly distributed. So 1 for each. And you just got to put them with the right person. If you get all of those right, I'm going to give you 3 more, but I won't necessarily make them even.
Okay.
So it might be 2 for Paul, 1 for whoever. Right. And then if you get those right again, I'm just going to give you more than 3 at a time with an undisclosed mix of how many for each person.
Increasing difficulty. Yeah. Got it.
So, and I literally thought about this like 20 minutes before we started recording. So I didn't even like pull a list down. I just have them open and I'm going to go through them. Because I saw some of the, and the joke of this is the names of these moves are absurd. Yeah. It just makes no sense.
Okay, I'm excited.
So this is 3 moves, 1 for each character.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a good one. Brutal Sting.
Okay.
Next one. Oh, this is a good one. Lion's Roar. And let's go with Peacekeeper.
I say Brutal Sting is, hold on.
Okay.
Lion's Roar is Paul, and Peacekeeper is King.
Okay. So you got 1 right. Lion's Roar is Paul.
Okay.
And the other 2 are flipped.
Okay.
Peacekeeper. So Brutal Sting is King's move, which is
okay.
I guess it's 1 plus 2 and then 3, but that means nothing to me.
Okay. What's Lion's Roar for Paul?
Down. It's down/forward. I don't know if that means like down forward or down and then I don't know. Down/forward plus 1, 1, 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's his boom, boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 1, 2 definitely sounds like a Paul.
Two or triangle is always a big one.
Okay.
That's a
Okay,
big
I'll
punch.
give you this. Since you didn't get that one right, the next one I'll do even split. If you want me to tell you what the move is, how to do it,
Okay,
I mean, I don't
that
know if
might
that
help.
would.
Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's do lights out, migraine, and brain chop.
Okay, I think lights out is Horan, migraine is king, and was it but brain chop sounds like hold on. Anyway, I'll say brain chop, Paul, migraine king, lights out, Horan.
This is very validating for this idea because those are all wrong, and there's no way, there's no logic to it at all. I'll give you I'll give you a mulligan. Try again. So what you
Okay.
just gave me was wrong. See if you can get it
Okay.
right. All three of them were wrong.
Okay.
Wait,
Migraine.
actually, say what you said again to make sure I.
I did migraine. I said king.
Uh,
Uh,
which is wrong.
lights out. I can't
I
remember
think you
which
said
way.
lights out was king. Yeah, you said
Uh,
lights out was king. Yeah, okay. So yeah, they were all three wrong.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I said migraine was king, but maybe not. I can't remember.
Oh, that's
Um,
wrong. That's wrong too.
okay. So, king is brain chop.
Yes, that's
Okay.
one.
So then migraine is Horan.
Yep.
Okay. And lights out is Paul.
Yep.
What's the key combination for lights out?
Back three,
Back
which I think is
three.
X.
X. Yeah. Anyway, it's just
I
a
don't know what
left
that
kick.
is. Yeah.
But what's migraine?
Migraine is 1-1 for hold on.
Oh, yeah,
Is that just two punches? Yeah.
Yeah. If you go 1-1-3-3, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like
punch, low, high.
low, high.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a migraine apparently. Punch. Man, the worst job in the world is to be like if you have to name every one of these things. Like they're just like, I don't know, migraine. Come on, guys, we've got 7,000 of these to do. You're just like throwing darts at a dictionary at that
Pretty
point.
much. Yeah, you're playing Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll keep. This is harder than I thought. So we'll keep on the original
same format.
One
Yeah,
per. Yeah.
And it's funny. I do not know the names of any of these moves.
No. That's why I thought it would be funny. And this is in no way to try and shame your Tekken knowledge. It's to highlight the absurdity of these names.
And like, I'm trying to think if I even know like down, forward, forward, two. Like Paul's like, you know,
sure. You know, like, if I knew what that one was, I would definitely have picked it. But I also have no idea what that move is called.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Okay, let's see. I had damn, there was okay, this one might be good. Burning Knuckle. Yep. Thunder Palm. And Firestorm Left.
Okay, I think Firestorm is Horan.
Yeah, that left is a dead giveaway.
Yeah. Burning Knuckle, I'll say, is King. And then Thunderpalm is Paul.
Yes.
Hey,
that's all three.
Nice.
Yep.
Like I think Thunderpalm rings a bell for me. For what's that combination?
I don't know what WS means. While standing?
Oh, while standing?
So while standing 2. So triangle on get up.
Yes, yeah, that's a good one. Because that's the one. Yeah, it's kind of like an uppercut kind of thing, and you can into another move.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, there was an extension of it, I think. So
Yeah.
okay, let's
And
see.
Burning Knuckle. What's that
Burning
combination?
Knuckle, up, forward, 1+2 hold. So like up and forward and the 2 punches.
Yeah.
Is that close? No, I don't think he has a clothesline.
No. Anyway,
I don't
I
know.
just if it was like a classic one, like
yeah.
if it was down 3 and 4, I do that one and then keep pushing 4. That's the shin kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, we'll do like 2 or 3 more. Oh, so you got all those right actually. So this time I can mix it up.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm giving you 3, but they're not necessarily 1 per.
Exactly. And they could be all king.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do Burning Spear. Hold on. They're all so good.
Yeah.
Blast Fist. And oh, that one's too easy.
What is it? Just no, never mind.
Yeah. I'll tell you after.
Yeah.
Third one is Pump in Pedal.
Pump and pedal?
In pedal.
Oh. What's that even mean?
I don't know.
Burning Spear, Blast Fist, and Pump in Pedal.
Yeah.
I'll say Pump in Pedal is Horang.
Okay.
Blast Fist is King, and Burning Spear is King.
All wrong. I'll give you another chance.
Okay.
So the ones you just gave me were wrong.
Okay. Pump in Pedal, Paul.
I'll tell you that is correct.
Okay. Blast Fist. Is this a misdirect? Is that Horang?
Yep.
Okay. Burning Spear, also Horang.
Very close. Burning Spear is Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. But that Blast Fist. So the one I said was too easy was Phoenix Smasher.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Burning Spear for Paul is back forward 1. And what was the Pump and Pedal is sidestep X.
And that's with
Paul.
Sidestep X.
I can't even. Unless, I can't think of which one that one
is. If I'm sidestepping, I'm just trying to do a side throw.
Sure, yeah.
or the elusive back throw if I get around far enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do one more, and then I know you gotta go. Okay,
no
so
worries.
we're back down to 1 per.
Yeah, exactly. Demoted, level 1.
Demoted.
That was a promotion chance that I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a sec to find a good one here. That's not a wrestling move.
Yeah.
Okay, these are good. Okay. Shoot the moon. What was the one I had over here? Let's go with Stealth Needle and Capital Punishment.
Okay, I think Shoot the Moon is Horang. Capital Punishment is Paul. And Stealth Needle is King.
Nope. Do one redo. Those are all wrong.
Shoot the Moon is Paul.
Yes.
Stealth Needle is Horang.
Yep.
Capital Punishment is King.
And then Capital Punishment is King. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, zero logic to any of this.
Capital Punishment sounds familiar in like trying to learn King moves. What's that combination?
Up, forward, 1 and 2. So that's similar to the other one, but
the other one.
The other one you had to hold it.
Oh.
And this one is just a single hit, I guess.
What's Shoot the Moon?
Shoot the Moon for Paul is down back 2. So one of his launchers. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. And Stealth Needle?
Stealth Needle is during left flamingo is back 1. Back punch, I guess.
That's going into flamingo in an actual thing is ballsy. Something I don't do very frequently.
Which one is that just his 2 left and right stances?
Like, no, flamingo is when I think it's like he gets like he up on like 1 foot.
That makes sense. That's kind of a flamingo type of stance.
And like you can't block.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you can certainly do a Stealth Needle.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I should try and haul out more flamingo stance. I'm gonna mix things up in our next fight. Haul some of that up.
All right, perfect. Yeah,
that was a fun game.
Yeah, just had to do something Tekken related because the absurdity of that game is just never not funny to me.
No, exactly. And as much as we love FF7, I also love Tekken for because it's so absurd most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and our origins are deep rooted in Tekken as well. So
yeah, they go back about almost the same amount.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that'll do it for this episode then.
Cool.
Like I said, the next time we do an episode, I will be probably at least done the story of Tears of the Kingdom, so I'll have lots to talk about that, and then we'll check in with you and your Final Fantasy 15 when you get some more time in with that one. Because I'm definitely curious to hear some of your thoughts. Cool. All right. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it as always, and thanks everyone for listening. Hope you had fun with that Tekken game. Just look up a move list for Tekken because it is very funny. I thought it might be hard to find stuff that like doesn't sound like that sounds like this move, but it was Phoenix. Like it was mining gold. It was like, this is good.
Yeah, I know. It's like you don't even need to prepare for that. Just bring a moves list up, and it'd be the odd Phoenix smash or whatever that you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just avoid those ones. Yeah.
But and people let us know if there are things in video games that you wonder about how that translates to real life.
Like how the mechanic of a game, what that would mean if it was a real life scenario kind of thing. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Fun stuff when you start tearing those walls down and breaking, it's funny to think about some of that stuff sometimes. Like turn-based battles is like such a dumb real life thing, but I love it in video games, right? So cool. Okay. Well, thanks again, Matt. And we'll see you guys on the next episode, probably in at least 2 weeks, because next weekend I'm gonna be real busy.
Yeah, fair. Doing research for the podcast.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cheers.
Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.